I'm ready to give my national championship predictions. And yes, so Kansas State's in it. UNLV's in it. I'm still going to give you what I had, simply because I don't believe in changing it even after week 0. Week 0 is kind of a soft deadline anyway. So let's go ahead and get into it. Reminder of my seeding. I had Alabama at number 1. I had Penn State at number 2. Clemson at number 3. Texas at number 4. So those are my 4 first-round buys. Then Notre Dame at number 5. Ohio State at number 6. Florida at number 7. Oregon at number 8. Arizona State at number 9. Kansas State at number 11. Georgia excuse me. Kansas State at number 10. Georgia at number 11. UNLV at number 12. Okay. We're going to talk about UNLV later in the show, I promise. We're also going to talk about Kansas State. But for right now, let's just stick to the playoffs. I have Oregon and Arizona State playing in the 8-9 game. I have Oregon winning that game. I think Dante Moore shows it. I said in my prior episode that I think Dante Moore is going to finish as a top 15 quarterback this year. And I think he shows it in that game. Arizona State also has to go to Eugene. That's one of the most difficult places to play in college football. So, in a very close game, and I think it'll be close, I think Arizona State's got a lot of good football players. They got a lot of returning production that's really good. They got a starting quarterback coming back, a transfer in from Army at running back. They got a great defense. I mean, you only replace one starter on defense. So you got guys. But I do take Oregon to win that game. They move on and play Alabama at number 1. 5 verse 12, I have UNLV going to Notre Dame. Sadly, UNLV looked horrible. I predicted them to be here, but obviously they're going to get their tail handed to them if they get there. I got Notre Dame beating UNLV in South Bend in a very not close football game. They will take on Texas in the second round. Now, I have Florida and Kansas State playing in the 7-10 game. Kansas State obviously lost. They can still get here. Tougher road because they got to win out, but they can still get here. I have Florida winning this game. Probably a close football game. I would say backdoor cover, if that. Because Kansas State's got guys. Avery Johnson is a guy. Jace Brown is a guy. So you don't, especially teams with great culture like Kansas State and these other teams from the Big 12, you don't just blow them out. Usually, that doesn't just happen, especially in today's college football. Now, you go back to 2019, LSU, Oklahoma. I call that a different story because we weren't in the age of talent acquisition as we are now in NIL. Nonetheless, I take Florida to win that game and face Penn State. Lastly, this game, if you were able to look at my notes right now, you would see I have this game scribbled out twice because I flipped back and forth. Georgia going into Ohio State. This would be one of the greatest college football playoff matchups as far as name recognition goes of all time, even including the 4-team playoff. But in this game, I have Ohio State beating Georgia. Why? Well, I don't know. Simply hard to predict game, especially this far from, playoff takes place in December and January. So this far removed from that, it's so hard to make a choice here. That's why I went back and forth. The reason I took Ohio State is because I want you to close your eyes, sit back and visualize 5-star talent. I got my eyes closed right now. 5-star talent, Julian saying, throws a deep ball to Jeremiah Smith right at the end of the right at the end of the first half. Goes up 2 scores against Georgia. That's a scary sight, especially if you're a Georgia fan. It was hard. I think that game would be insanely close. I'm talking Jack Sawyer picked. Obviously, Jack Sawyer's not there anymore, but throwback to last year, Jack Sawyer picks up a strip sack on fourth down on the goal, pretty much a goal line for Texas, and runs it back in backdoor cover, that type of thing. So, very close game, but I would take Ohio State just because I don't think Georgia's the same Georgia this year. Now, future years, Georgia's still the number one program. Don't get me wrong. Please don't get me wrong. They have the best coach in college football. They are the best program in college football. But this year might be a little setback. Okay, round two. Who do we got? We got Oregon versus number 8 Oregon versus number 1 Alabama. Dante Moore's run ends here. I think Bama would win this game. I think Bama will end up being the best team in the country. Not right now, but once they get cemented, Ty Simpson gets some reps in there, I think they'll end up being the number 1 team in the nation. In the playoff, I would take Alabama to win that game. Notre Dame versus Texas, number 4 versus number 5. I have Texas right now power rated at number 1, right now. Neutral site favorability, I think Texas is favored over anyone. I would pick them to win against anyone. But I'm taking Notre Dame in this game, and let me tell you why. Notre Dame's defense this year will be unbelievable, and especially in the secondary. Notre Dame's secondary could be a historic secondary this year. And if you don't believe me, go look at the production from last year and the talent stepping up to make a plays this year. Ridiculous. I'm taking Notre Dame in this game. Number 7, Florida versus number 2, Penn State. I would take Penn State. Penn State's just too good. If just as far as being built to win a national championship and to win multiple ways, Penn State's that. And I think Florida can win multiple ways this year. If DJ Lagway goes down, you have one of the best offensive lines in college football, paired with Jaden Ball and Jacoby Jackson in the backfield. That's a scary duo. So, obviously Florida can win multiple ways this year, but Penn State's just a better football team. James Franklin is an experienced coach, not necessarily in the playoff. He's only been to the playoff once, but he's coached in big games. Granted, they've lost a lot of them, but I think Penn State wins this football game. Moving to our 3 versus 4 game in the quarterfinals, Clemson versus Ohio State. Clemson's very experienced. They're tied with Arizona State for number 1 in returning production. Dabo Swinney's been there before. Obviously, Ryan Day has too. But with as good of a team Clemson has, I think Ohio State might tend to make a few hiccups this year, and I would take Clemson just because simply Cade Klubnik. I think Cade Klubnik's going to be the best college football quarterback this year. Okay, in the semifinals, that gives us number 1 Alabama versus number 5 Notre Dame. Obviously, everyone remembers what happens when Alabama plays Notre Dame in the past. 2012, 2020. It's been unmerciful butt whoopings. I don't think this would be that. I think Notre Dame has solidified themselves, especially last year under Marcus Freeman, as true national championship contenders. I don't think it's obviously the loss to Northern Illinois last year, that's embarrassing, but I don't think it's the team that hiccups all the time and loses multiple games like that. I think Notre Dame's here to stay. Their talent acquisition is elite. Look at their classes coming up. Top 5, top 10 classes. Brian Kelly wasn't necessarily doing that. So, with that being said, I do think Bama would still win. I think this game would be insanely close, and I could see Notre Dame winning this game. And that's something you're going to see this year with teams. The margin of, let me rephrase that. The gap between these teams are not the same. If I go look at my power ratings right now for week 1, the gap between Texas and number 15 Arizona State, for me, would probably be 10 points, give or take. Any given year, the gap between 1 and 15 is sometimes 17 points. With that being said, I still do think Bama wins this game and moves on to the national championship. I think by then Ty Simpson will be clicking, and his supporting cast is the best supporting cast in college football. Penn State versus Clemson. What a game this is. This is a prove it game, man. Um, Penn State, oh, they can't win the big game. Every year they lose to the big teams. James Franklin can't get it done. You know who else couldn't get it done? Kirby Smart. You know who else couldn't get it done? Ryan Day. Spoiler alert, they got it done. And I think James Franklin does it. Clemson has a lot to prove here as well. That their way of college football can stand. Because they've been building to this year. This is the year that Clemson has circled. And I think they really do have a great year, obviously making it to the semifinals, earning a first round bye, and winning the ACC. But I think they lose a very, very close game. Like, very, very close. As close as games get. But I do have Penn State winning this and setting a beautiful helmet game, a beautiful original and traditional uniform game. I'm a big flashy guy when it comes to uniforms, but I love the traditional uniforms, and the traditional uniform game in this matchup is as beautiful as it's going to get. In this game, Drew Aller shines. I think Drew Aller goes off. I think Bama's secondary is able to make a few plays that really put them in position to win, and I think Ty Simpson steps up and wins this game for Alabama. I think this game, obviously it's a national championship, so everyone's going to be watching, but I think this game right here solidifies Ty Simpson as a household name. I think Ryan Williams goes off, even though I really do like A.J. Harris and the rest of that Penn State secondary. I think Ryan Williams goes off, and I think Alabama wins this game. I think Alabama's offensive line starts to lean on Penn State, even though Penn State has a great defensive line. I think Alabama just has a little bit more. I think that talent gap is a little bit, plays a role here. Even though both of these teams have good talent rosters, Bama has better talent roster. I think some of those stars really start to shine here. And I think Alabama's the national champion of this year. Oh, Kalen DeBoer, he can't recruit the South. He can't go in there and win. Well, I think he does it. That should shut a lot of the people up.